Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Souza, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Muntz and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
Well, we're back again. That was a brief intermission. We are talking about the big shifts in business then and now, lessons we've learned, pivots we've made, and practical steps to evolve in this world as we know it today. And the last time we were talking, we kind of ended with what was our power move. I loved Lisa talking about cold dipping. She forced us to go cold dipping.
I forced you?
Well, it was a little bit.
I was a little scared, Lisa. I was a little scared.
Amy.
However, yes, it was Amy. And however, you all both said you were going to try it again.
I will try it again.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so cold dipping, for anybody that's not from Minnesota or doesn't do this, it's where they cut a piece of ice out of the lake and then you submerge your body into it, into the lake in freezing. And it was February. Did we do that in February?
I think it was February, and we had changed it because it was -6 degrees the Friday evening that we were supposed to do it. And we moved it to the next week, and it must have been in the 20s the week after. It wasn't much warmer.
Oh my gosh. But you know, the saving grace was the sauna. That was beautiful. And the conversation. Remember the people we got to meet in there? That was I think that there's a camaraderie that happens with cold dipping. That you probably don't find many places. So
well, you know, when I think of cold water dipping, there are three pieces. It is the cold, it is the community, and it is nature. And it was something that a group of us started during the pandemic. And for me, it was slightly after. And that was a huge game changer for me because we started the happy hour. That was post-pandemic. We met out on the patio. People were still wearing masks. People were still kind of afraid to meet in groups, but it was the beginning of a change that we as women and business owners desperately needed. And that was a huge shift for the people that have been coming on a regular basis, that now they've created friendships and business exchanges. And that's been really good to see.
Yeah. Well, I would say that I will do it again. I don't know how much I'm looking forward to it. There's not a lot of excitement, but it was refreshing.
I still can't get over how the bottom of the lake felt. I had never been in a lake before, especially in February with wool socks on. Feels a little different than the ocean does.
The hats were great. So wait for the January.
A little different than the ocean does.
The hats were great. So wait for the January issue of Egan City Lifestyle, and then you'll see a photo of us. I'm going to start with this question. 5 years ago, things shifted in our world. We're now in May, so that we would have been 2 months fully into the pandemic. We called it the dreaded lurgy in our household. Some people call it the mandatory pause. Did you guys have a name for it?
No, I did not have a name for it.
Lockdown. Whew. All right. So there was a lot of shifts that happened during that time. But were there any shifts in your values that shifted during that time about work and success? What was it like for you?
For me, I was running a salon with 48 ladies. And we were deep in and we were busy. It was St. Patrick's Day. And the world just shut down.
On
St. Patrick's Day. I mean, Tracie, you were running an Irish pub on St. Patrick's Day. I can't imagine. But the clients didn't understand why we were closing. Mm-hmm. They had no idea what was going on. They just thought we were closing the doors, and they wanted to get their hair done. So
you were an essential worker.
I was not essential. They closed us down.
Oh, you were?
No, we were closed for 12 weeks. Do you know how mad people get when they can't get their hair colored? Wow. They had roots.
Did you?
I
have a question on this. Did you see a shift in that people? Because I mean, you might have been closed for 12 weeks, but there was a lot of people that didn't come back to the salons for almost a year. Did you see have you seen the business change because people are doing their hair at home? Anything like that?
I've seen a shift. I actually had 4 girls retire and 11 not come back. So I was swamped. I went from running the business to having to jump in and start doing hair again. So that was a complete shift for me.
One of the things I had happen is my guys were gone pretty close to March, and then they came back in mid-May. And it was like they were brand new.
Absolutely.
Even my tenured, like the people that had been with me for 10, 15, 14 years, well, it wouldn't have been because it was 13, but it was like brand new. Like they had never served before.
Well, and they had to learn to do things differently because you had to operate.
Everybody was in fear.
Yeah.
Both of my pubs, it was weird. One pub was in fear, the other one was like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
The pub in the city wanted me to put up barriers on the bar, right? Like, I'm like, stuff. I think the city of Minneapolis was making it all fear-mongering. I mean, it was very fear-mongering, where, Dakota County was like, hey, let's just be smart business owners.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and for me, it helped me flip that switch where I desperately wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I was working full-time, and I wanted to leave my corporate job in December, but I didn't have the confidence to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
To be done.
Fear, right?
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to get paid? Like, so you were kind of forced.
Yeah. And then March came, and I was given time off. The business had closed, and I reevaluated, and I'm like, I feel so much better not being in that atmosphere. And that was the trigger that was like, okay, I'm done working corporate. I get to work for myself.
Same, Lisa. I left 2021. I left corporate after 21 years to launch a magazine. And I started doing hair again to pay for the print cost.
Blessings on doing hair again. P.S. My hair looks so good today. I wish you guys could see it. And Amy, you did such a great job. And now my daughter, yes, you are one of the best.
Oh, thank you.
One of the best. For me, my biggest shifts in values have been around the way that I show up for my staff, right? When I had that day, March 18th, when I had half my staff walk in and half my staff on Zoom, and I had to tell them that, as a business owner, I don't know what we're doing. It almost felt like going through death. Sadly, I've lost both of my parents and a niece and grandparents, but really, the stages of grief, that, disbelief, and then the anger, and then the fear, and then the sadness, and then the I can do this, dipping your toe. So it was like these stages of grief that I went through, and I'm so lucky, blessed. I don't think luck had anything to do with it. I was so blessed that the year before I had started to experience a little bit of personal growth in my life. So when everything went online, there was no excuse for me not to, and I would spend 2 to 3 hours a day in study, where I was listening to, speakers, and I was reading more, and I didn't have time for Netflix, right? Where everybody, it felt like all of my staff would say, oh, I just, I sit around and watch Netflix all day. I would study for 3 hours every morning. Then we'd go to the pub and we'd work. There were 6 of us. I would study for 3 hours every morning. Then we'd go to the pub and we'd work. There were 6 of us. We'd work our tails off. And we'd be 8 o'clock. We'd be decompressing. It was it was work, but that was my
I don't think
biggest-
there was a piece of tile in my entire house that I didn't scrub with a toothbrush during the pandemic.
Oh, I wish you
My
would.
house was so clean.
I would have. I mean, my house was empty. You could have come to my house.
I could have.
What's something we talked about this the last time that you used to hustle for, but that you don't? Lisa, you didn't answer that question. What's something that you don't hustle for so much anymore?
I don't hustle for relationships.
Yeah, that's a good one, Lisa.
I'm not trying to impress anybody anymore. And that, we talked about this earlier, is it age? Is it wisdom? Is it enough is enough to try as hard as we think we need to? When I think about, we also had a conversation about competition. One of the things that I learned being in sales was when I became a pay setter and a gold pay setter, people were coming to me and asking what shifted, what is different? And it was me keeping track of my numbers and comparing myself to where I was the year prior. So when I stopped comparing myself to my coworkers, that's when my numbers improved, because I was always worried how they were doing. I had to be better than them. I had to have more sales than they did. And it really made a really anxious atmosphere. It was just not a good atmosphere to be around. And when I let go and just looked at my own numbers and focused on who I was and how I could become better, that changed everything. It was a game changer.
Yeah. You have to have something to measure so you can make the changes.
Yeah.
And I love that you said about that when you started just examining yourself and how we can be that 1% better every single day, how I can be, right? And not measuring myself based on your abilities. One thing, I remember one of my employees coming to me one day and he was so excited. He's like, Tracie, did you know that common sense is not common? All common sense is based on your beliefs, your experiences, your perceptions. So when you look at somebody and you're like, why don't they have the common sense? Here's the reality. They may not have had the experience that you had that gave you that common sense. So then when we become more curious, did you know that you do more grace? Right? Now it's not about competition or judgment or comparison. It's more about curiosity, and that's when we become better leaders rather than saying that knucklehead has no common sense. Instead, as a leader, I would never say that to somebody, P.S. I might think it, but I won't say it.
Yep.
But as a leader going, hey, George, I don't know if you know this, but this is really what we should do in an experience like this, at least in this environment. Right? I only get to control this environment here at the pubs or whatever business I'm running. So
I think that's a lesson that we all learned post-pandemic is to collaborate more with people and to get an understanding of where they're coming from, because we'll never be the same as somebody else. We will, once we embrace who we are and where we're at, we don't have to feel like we're in competition, but we can work together and we can partner and think bigger and better.
That's right.
And that's why Glass Ceiling Foundation has become so successful, is because of that mentality.
It's all about collaboration.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I just think also that the pandemic has created this loneliness. We got really comfortable in our uncomfortability of being alone. So now branching out, there's almost like a fear because we haven't done it for so long, right? I think that it's getting better. I think today's, but I also think in today's environment, there's this, and I'm putting my hands in a fisting, like we're bashing each other in the head, because if you don't believe what I believe, then I'm taking my ball and going home because I know how to be alone. So how difference of beliefs together in our businesses that as a leader, because that can definitely happen.
Absolutely, it can. Happens too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to say yes to everything. And now I'm being more selective on what I'm saying yes to and putting it on the calendar.
Yeah. I think I come with curiosity a lot more today. And I've said that word a couple times, but I think that for me, I'm coming with a lot of, I don't know if I believe the way that you do. How can we come together where we can have conversation so I can, and I see that with my staff, right? I have staff that, for the longest time, I mean, one of my staff members, it was only less than 6 months ago that she stopped wearing a mask to work. So how can I come with rather than judgment, right? Come with rather than judgment, right?
How do you come with curiosity?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, it wasn't like she was sick. It was, but came with curiosity, like, hey, what's really going on?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
No excuses, no limiting beliefs. What's really going on behind the mask, so to speak, figuratively and literally.
For sure. I think women hide behind a different type of mask.
Yeah.
That we need to take the mask off and be in public, put ourselves out there, and just be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
So how do you create safety in your life when you don't? Because saying that is super easy, right? Take the mask off, right? But how do you personally create safety within you when you have to take your mask off? When you have to take your mask off in a situation that maybe feels a little uncomfortable or a little unsafe, and
Good question. I honestly have to say it starts with awareness and noticing. And noticing myself acting a certain way or having that feeling. And that awareness allows me to see, why am I acting this way? Or to ponder it deeper, what really is going on? Why am I feeling this way? This weekend was a good example. I only was able to do probably 2 or 3 things this weekend. And I questioned myself, why? And a lot of it was me realizing I just need to be open to all the abundance that's out there waiting for me, instead of pulling and tugging, I need this, I need this. Everything that I desire, if I'm just open to being in that good energy and that good feeling.
That's so good.
Yeah, I think it starts by telling them the truth in small places, small spaces, when you're with different groups, and letting the messy out. Doesn't always have to be perfect.
That's right.
Talk about the messy.
I love that. All right, guys, we're almost done with this conversation. Again, I think we could probably go for another 20 minutes, but I have one more question just to finish up. I appreciate you guys letting me lead the conversation on this one. This is one of my favorite topics, and I believe that business and the big shifts is going to be one that we talk about often. But if you were to give the listener a permission slip, like a hall pass, to stop doing something that no longer serves them in business, what would you say to them today?
I would recommend that they ask for help.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are you asking for? What do you need?
I love that.
Yeah.
What are you asking for? What do you need? And don't be afraid to ask for help, because even though someone may not be able to help you the way you think you need help, they may give you a completely different way of helping you than you never expected.
I love that.
So just being open. Yeah.
Ask for help.
Yeah, I agree.
How about you? Hey.
I agree with what Lisa said. Ask for help, collaborate often, make new friends, and get out there. Get out of the box.
So I'm going to piggyback on both of what you guys said, and that's get in the room.
Yeah.
Get in the room. That's going to stretch your level of thinking, your level of belief. Look for people that are doing what you really want to do rather than judgment. Get curious, get in, ask them out for coffee or tea or, a cocktail, and just ask questions. Find your mentor. Find your mentor's not knocking them off, right?
Absolutely.
They are out there. We are out there. listen to podcasts like this, read books, but really you gotta get in the room. You gotta take yourself. I have a one last thing that I want to say. You know, when I moved to Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I was working for a tobacco company at the time, and you know, I mean, it was the first really big job I'd ever had. And my boss asked me one day, I'd lived there for about 6 weeks, and he asked me, you know, have you met anybody? And I'm like, no. And he goes, well, do you go out at night? Do you do anything? And I go, no, not really. And he goes, Tracie, who are you expecting to meet? The pizza delivery guy? He's like, get out there and meet somebody. So that night I went out with a friend and I met the guy that I dated for the next 11 years. Now, I'm not with him anymore, but I had an 11-year relationship just because I didn't settle for the pizza delivery guy. I'm just saying, get out, show up consistently.
Show up consistently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's out there. So, thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.